Welcome in, everybody. We're diving deep today into a poetry collection you all were really interested in, I Don't Love You Anymore, by Rithvik Singh Rathore.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
It's not your typical love poetry, right?
Yeah.
It gets into the nitty-gritty, the raw, sometimes messy parts of love, the letting go.
Yeah, and how those past relationships, they really impact our present.
Exactly. And Rathore, the way he captures that feeling of unrequited love.
Oh, it's so relatable. I think everyone's felt that on some level.
Totally. Those lines about wishing on stars that aren't meant for you, or the flowers wilting apart, you can just feel that ache, that longing for someone who just doesn't feel the same.
It's palpable.
There's this one line just stuck with me. I'll always be the first one to open my arms for you and the last one you'll choose to hug.
Ooh, that's powerful. It speaks to the vulnerability, the longing that just comes with unrequited love.
It makes you think about the psychology of it all too, why it's so hard to let go when your feelings aren't reciprocated.
Right, why do we hold on? Makes you wonder if that hope, maybe it's more painful than just letting go.
Ooh, good point. Rathore doesn't shy away from that, does he? The theme of leaving, it's woven through the entire collection.
It is, and it's not just physical leaving, is it? It's more symbolic.
Yeah, it's like leaving behind the old versions of ourselves, letting go of those attachments that just don't serve us anymore.
Exactly. And there's that line, I'm not the person you left behind. It really embodies that. It's a process of rediscovery, like a phoenix rising. You know, you can find growth even from heartbreak.
Breakups, as painful as they are, they can be a chance to redefine ourselves, shed those parts of our identity that just don't fit anymore.
For sure.
You know, that feeling of longing Rathore describes, it makes you think about the whole process of letting go.
Mm.
But what really stood out to me was how he digs into how past experiences, especially those in childhood or in family relationships, they influence our approach to love as adults.
It's fascinating, right? He seems to be tapping into attachment theory a bit. You know, how our early bonds with our caregivers, they shape our relationships as adults. We don't come into love with a blank slate.
Right. It's like he's saying our past, especially those early relationships, they leave their mark. There's that striking line about his parents. My mother's smile is so beautiful, my father must hate that about her, for he never let her smile for too long.
Wow, that's heavy.
It is. It's like a glimpse into how love and pain can be so intertwined, even within a family.
It really makes you think about those dynamics, you know, like how they might play out in Rathore's romantic relationships.
Adds another layer to his exploration of heartbreak and healing, for sure.
Definitely. It's like he's prompting us to examine our own histories, you know, how they might be shaping our current relationships. It's an invitation to self-reflection.
It really is. It's powerful stuff. And, even though he goes so deep into heartbreak, there's still this undercurrent of hope, this resilience in his poetry. It's not all doom and gloom.
No, not at all. You don't finish this collection feeling hopeless. It's really about that potential for healing, the importance of self-love after a loss.
There's that one line, I think it was, I've gotten better at saying goodbye ever since you left. There's strength in that,
Yeah.
right? Like that sense of personal growth that can come out of loss.
Yeah, you really feel that. And what I think is so interesting is how Rathore doesn't shy away from those complex feelings about love. You know, the ambivalent stuff that can linger even when you know a relationship isn't working.
Oh, totally. Like, there's that poem where he talks about loving someone in sentences and silences, prose and poetry, thunderstorms and the calm that follows.
Yes, it's so beautifully put. It really captures that push and pull, doesn't it?
It does. It speaks to just how deep and wide love can be, encompassing both joy and sorrow.
Exactly. And how even when it ends, it leaves its mark. It shapes us, maybe in ways we don't even realize.
Oh, for sure. So true. Rathore also touches on how hard it can be to navigate love in a world that often feels so superficial. All those fleeting connections and then that yearning for something deeper, something more lasting.
He does. And he contrasts them so well.
I love that line, things are hard with people who don't love you hard. People whose love isn't the ocean, but it's waves.
Ah, yes. It's so relatable, isn't it? Like being with someone who's just emotionally unavailable. They only give you these glimpses of their heart.
Exactly. It's like a reminder to be more discerning in love, to choose partners who are willing to meet us with the same intensity that we bring.
Absolutely. It makes you think about what true love really looks like.
Doesn't it? And Rathore, he has these beautiful passages that highlight the simple, profound acts of love, like having tea at midnight just to keep someone company, traveling miles to make someone smile, refusing to let distance change how you feel.
It's the little things, right? The small gestures.
They are, but they're so powerful because they resonate with that deeper truth. It's those consistent gestures of care and commitment that make love solid.
Yeah, it's not about the grand pronouncements, is it?
No, it's about showing up for each other day after day.
Nurturing those connections, even when life gets tough. You know, another thing that got me thinking was Rather's perspective on self-love, especially for people who've gone through heartbreak or trauma.
Right. He seems to be saying that self-love, it's not like a destination. It's this ongoing process, rediscovering and valuing ourselves even when others haven't.
Exactly. Recognizing our inherent worth, regardless of what we've been through or how others have treated us. There's that line, what was it? Let your love for yourself be the tapestry that decorates your heart.
That's the one.
Oh.
Such a beautiful image, isn't it? Self-love is a source of strength and beauty.
Like we are worthy of love, even when we feel broken or unlovable. And that love, it starts with ourselves.
It's the foundation, really, for building healthy relationships with others. One of the things that strikes me about Rathor's work is just how willing he is to be vulnerable, sharing his own experiences with heartbreak and healing. So honestly, so raw.
Oh, absolutely. It's that vulnerability that makes his poetry so relatable, so powerful.
He doesn't pretend to have all the answers, does he?
No, he's right there with us. Like we're on this journey together, exploring love and loss, all its complexities.
And it makes you feel less alone, when he's that honest.
It does. It's like, yeah, love is messy. It's okay to not have it all figured out.
Right. And even when it hurts, like really hurts, there's still that possibility for growth. Transformation even.
Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, yeah.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Rathor's poetry here, what really stood out to you? What resonated?
His emphasis on self-discovery, for sure. That whole idea that heartbreak, it can actually be a catalyst, to learn more about ourselves and what we really want in love.
It's a tough lesson, but maybe a necessary one.
Yeah, like a detour, but it gets you where you need to be. It's about recognizing that loss, as painful as it is, it can be a chance to redefine ourselves, create a future that's actually aligned with our values, our needs.
Maybe even open ourselves up to new possibilities, new loves, ones we might not have been ready for before.
That's a good point. And Rather reminds us that healing, it takes time. There's no quick fix for a broken heart, is there?
Nope. It's a process.
Yeah.
Grieving, learning to live without someone who was so important.
And then gradually finding joy and meaning again, even if it looks different than we thought it would.
Exactly.
Sometimes letting go of someone we love, it's the most loving thing we can do for ourselves and for them.
It lets everyone move forward, creates space for new experiences, new relationships.
It does.
As we wrap up, I have a question for everyone listening. Rather talks about becoming the ocean after a painful relationship. What does becoming the ocean mean to you? In the context of healing and moving on.
That's such a beautiful image. Maybe it's about embracing all our emotions, the good and the bad, the joy and the sorrow, without being overwhelmed.
Or maybe it's about realizing how connected we are to everyone else. Like our experiences, even the painful ones, they ripple out and touch others.
That's a nice way to think about it. Whatever becoming the ocean means to you, I hope Rather's poetry reminds you that even when your heart is broken, there's always hope for healing, always a chance for transformation.
And that self-discovery, it's a lifelong journey. It's a journey worth taking, even when the path is uncertain.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into I Don't Love You Anymore. We hope you found it insightful, maybe even a little bit healing.
Until next time, keep diving deep, everyone, and keep your hearts open to the possibility of healing and love.